Good morning, folks. Papa Joe here. Early Sunday morning. Almost 8 o'clock. Been up about an hour and a half. Got oven preheating. I got some sausage over here cooking. I'll break that down in a little bit. I have got some eggs in there. I'm going to make me up a breakfast dish. I got my cell phone laying over there where I can watch a video. The daughter-in-law had made a meal I said I wanted to try this weekend. Look here, Crystal. Pork belly. See, America does have pork belly. Pork belly really isn't nothing but big old pieces of bacon. A lot of fat, which is what she was wanting for her dish that she cooked. I got 2 packages, that's all they had. Me and Grandma looked at it, discussed it. We want to use it, but it's real high in fat, real low in meat. Understand why it gets used in dishes. We went ahead and got us, we are in Texas, so we got us a little bit of other pork to put a little bit of meat in with it. I have my phone available so that I can go over what you was saying you put in the marinade, and that's the marinade that you was trying to think of the word of. So while my sausage is cooking, and I'm getting ready to do that breakfast dish to take on the truck with me, I'm going to get this started and get it marinated. So, no need in y'all watching me for that. I'm going to slice this down a lot smaller, make it more bite size. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. And I meant to get some low sodium soy sauce yesterday, and I forgot it. I'm thinking I do have soy sauce in there. But hopefully I have everything I need for this. Now, let me get with cooking. I'll be back with y'all in a little bit. Bye. Alright, folks. I'm back with you. Just got off the phone with little Joe and Crystal. Called her questioning a little bit of stuff. I have modified this again. When I cut up all that pork belly, that was way too much pork belly. And, yeah, light me a cigarette. Grandma, hand me a monster, please. That was more pork belly than me and Grandma wanted to cook up in our first try of this. I had it all cooked up, so she just did a freezer bag. So, one of them vacuum seal freezer bags, thank you. And my concern was, which is why I called Crystal, I call her phone and little Joe answers. I had to tell him, you ain't the one I called. Put my daughter-in-law on. My concern was, normally when you render any porks, bacons and all that, we all know we get that grease. And grease don't normally evaporate. So I was questioning that. You know, a while ago I said that this pork belly looked like bacon. Big old fat pieces of bacon. They both have assured me that it's not going to render down as much fat as I think. And they said hardly any. And they also was just telling me the consistency of the meat is going to be different than what I'm thinking. And I don't normally cook pork belly. So it's not like I'm talking out of experience. I'm just talking from observation and a little bit of cooking experience. I also mentioned to her that some of her measurements seem to be a little bit off. If you watched her video, you seen where she put in like 3 cloves of garlic and called it 2 tablespoons. So she's going to be working on her American measurements. Okay? Ain't a big deal. Now, Grandma and she has started getting some minced garlic, which has the garlic oil in it. We're not as crazy about the garlic taste as her and Joe. Obviously also Carlos, because me and him talked on the phone a couple days ago after they did it. And he's like, oh yeah, I love garlic. So we put in got a regular teaspoon out, and we did pretty much a teaspoon. We like garlic, but we like it to taste, not over. That's a thing about anybody's recipes that's being put up here. If it sounds like an excessive amount for you, for your likes, cut back or add to if it's not enough, you know. So there we go. I've got my garlic in here. I've cut up the different meats, as you can see. The pork belly's on bottom. I'm starting with her half cup. I'm thinking I'll probably wind up putting more in here, but I don't know that. I do have it out. Now also, we planned on looking for low sodium, which we did not get. We have our regular soy sauce that we've had. We got that before I got put on such a strict diet where I'm having to cut out all my sugars and salts and all that stuff. And we're not going to just throw that one away. We're definitely going to use it. Now, mixing this up, I still have plenty of soy sauce down here in the bottom. And I know that when she did hers, she was mostly just wanting to get it a good coating of that on everything. So that's what I'm shooting for. And actually, her half a cup is covering this real good. So I will not have to add more. So I'm going to make sure this is all well covered. All the pieces have got their share on it. And we're going to let it set. Grandma came in and finished off my sausage for my oven bake. I'm doing one of my egg sandwich deals that I make to go out on the road with me. The only concern I have at this time is I did cut that pork belly down. There's some pieces that's a little bit bigger than I had planned on. Well, how do I say this? I had cut it down thinking that when it rendered down they would be smaller pieces. But they're telling me it's not going to render it down as much as I thought, so the pieces might end up being a little bigger than I anticipated. But there's that. I got to get on with my eggs. I've showed you the egg dish enough times. I'm not going to show you that. I'm just acknowledging that that's what I'm doing. I'm multitasking. And I've got my phone out where I've been watching part of her video while I can do it. All right. Going to pause you out a minute. Going to let this soak a little bit. Get my egg stuff going. I'll be back. All right, folks. Papa Joe back with you. As you can see, we're using our square pan. That's one of them copper chef pans that we bought. Looked interesting and all that, so we wanted to try it. Now, while I was waiting, I cut my onions up and added it to this. I doubt that it makes any difference. Also, I did go ahead and add a little more soy sauce to it. Well, listen to that. I've been watching her video along with doing my stuff here, and turn that around, and it just looked like hers was more saturated in soy sauce than mine. I might have used, I don't know, 2/3 of a cup. I didn't add a whole lot more. So we're going to get this going, and it's all covered real good. I'm not sure what temperature she was cooking this on. I assume she left it up there on the hotter one, which on my electric range I've got it set on 8. I'm going to cut it back to 7. Grandma's in there hollering she don't think I already cut it back, so I'm going to leave it on 8. Or put it back on 8. I'm going to put the lid on this. Let's see. We need 11 minutes after our eggs get done, Grandma. We got 9 minutes on our oven bake. So need about 11 minutes after the oven goes off on that. Normally, if we set that egg mixture in there for around 20 minutes, we check it and wind up cooking it another 10 minutes. So actually my stuff in the oven's going to get done by the time I need to start on this. So with that, I'm going to take my coffee in the can. I'm going to go in there with Grandma and sit down and take a break for a few minutes. Also, yes, the light's different. I'm not moving Grandma's lamp around like I did yesterday. That was a pain in the butt. Ain't gonna do it. We'll be back in a little while. Bye. Alright, folks. Came back in. I heard my 1 minute warning on the on my oven stuff, which should be going off here in a second. I'm checking this, and yes, there is, I don't know if you can see it or not, there is quite a bit of juice cooking down in here. Stir it a little bit. I'm going to set this for 11 minutes. There we go, that'll take off, which now the timing is for this meat. And while this is doing its thing, I am going to check my egg stuff in there, which I assume needs to cook another, 10 minutes. And I'm going to watch my video of how she did her pork adobo. Adobe or adobo? Adobo. And see what's next. I know I want it to render down more, but regardless, as long as it stays on heat, it will continue to render. Let me turn that oven light on. Boy, that's looking almost done. Let me pull it out and have a look-see at it. Grandma, he's over here. You ain't got to go get, no, it ain't quite done. It ain't quite done. I seen the egg white wiggling. So, let me take care of this. You seen that? Breakfast for the week's almost done. I'll be back. Alright, got 4 minutes left on the clock. I already set out the egg stuff for the week. So, most times Grandma don't keep any of this. Every blue moon she will. But there's my breakfast for the week. I'll get 6 sandwiches out of that. So, which I don't necessarily eat all 6 in 1 week. As I've gotten where I don't eat near the breakfast that I used to. And this is really getting a lot of juice in it. Me and Grandma have been watching some of her video there. We're watching it as we go along. And I can tell you now, this is not nowhere near any kind of tender. Now also, Crystal, you made mention in one of your comments back to me about the tuna salad. And you mentioned it earlier when I was talking on the phone. You was jumping Little Joe's butt about not telling you about it. He ain't going to be able to tell you about all our American dishes, honey, no more than you can tell him all about y'all's. However, that tuna salad that you've seen me make, we also do that with other stuff. If you look in the store, you'll see not only canned tuna, you'll see canned chicken, or you can use chicken, like that turkey that you had the other day, that you made the turkey leftover out of. You can take any kind of those meats, like where you was saying on the this pork adobo that you can, ooh, that egg was hot on my butt. I'm going to push it farther back down the edge. Where you was saying that you could do the chicken and all that other stuff. Turn this off. Well, it's the same thing with those salads. Those salads is nothing but a way of turning meats into a sandwich deal or something to put on a cracker. So just keep that in mind. Any of your leftover meats, especially your poultry, you can do that way. And we do have canned food in the stores just to turn it into that. So just a little word for the wise for you there. I'm going to stir this again. And if I remember correctly, we really don't add anything else to it. And see, now you were saying that the pan was moving around because you had one hand on the camera. Mine moving around because I was holding my lid, not setting it down. This is coming along very good. A lot of juice has cooked out of it. So it's got a lot of water in it, as you were saying. And we're going to let it continue cooking. Onion, get back in there. I'm using one of my wooden spoons so that I don't scratch Mama's new pan. I say Grandma's, but still, we both cook a lot. Alright, we're going to let this go a while longer. We'll be back. Alright folks, Papa Joe here. Alright, I wound up draining some of the grease off of this. It never did cook down enough. My meat started turning a brownish color that I did not like, or it was almost burning. So I didn't continue with that. But there's my bay leaves. I also, she added a whole tablespoon of crushed or whole black pepper. We didn't have whole black pepper. We had crushed black pepper, not ground. So that's what I added to it. Is a little over a half. It was, I don't know, maybe 3/4. So there, that's going now. And I got a lot of other stuff going. We got brown rice going right here. Get out another wooden spoon. We are going to have brown rice with our pork adobo. So Grandma got this started and had to run off. And I was fixing to jump in the shower because I got to leave today. When I was asked to come in here and take care of this while she took care of what she's doing. So there, brown rice is going. We've added the water. I'm going to back her video up, make sure that I'm on track here, and I'll be back. Whoa! Thing trying to fall over on me. Alright, we are, I did a little oops on it. I didn't add my vinegar and stuff in time. So, we didn't have the crushed red pepper she was talking about. We used a touch of cayenne pepper. And, I didn't use white vinegar. I used apple cider vinegar. We do have white vinegar, but I don't like using that for cooking and stuff. So we are tweaking this a little bit our way.
Then, oops, sorry about that. It's so hard when...
Yeah, I'm listening to her video and watching it.
And take video while cooking, but still... It's for Papa Joe. So I put Cajun or this one.
Okay,
so
the Creole.
Spicy. Creole seasoning. It's Cajun seasoning.
Grandma, give me just a touch more water to go in this, please. Here's my cup.
Crushed red pepper. So stir it.
Being that I was a little bit late, let me pause her a minute. Thank you. Being I was a little bit late on adding my vinegar and these other seasonings, that was my bad. What is that, a half or a whole?
That was a whole.
Okay. So I'm going to wind up cooking mine a little bit more. Me and Grandma did sample a piece while ago, a bite of the meat. It was tender, big time. So there, we've added, well, I didn't start, duh. We've got a few too many things going. It is really turning out great. We've got brown rice cooking, so for me to add that extra little bit of water, which she had mentioned in our video, that wasn't a big deal. We want a little bit of juice, which is what me and Grandma was discussing, is that we like cooking with a gravy or a broth type stuff. We're not used to cooking with soy sauce and cooking it down like she has, but it's all good. So let me watch a little bit more of this video here so I don't make any more oops. Alright, minor little changes and oops and whatnot, that's part of cooking. We modified some of her seasonings to our taste. We added a little more water here towards the end, so ours is a little more soupy than hers. We did that on purpose because we want a broth. It's just a difference in eating styles and habits. Over there they do a more dry dish because they're having it with their rice, and and a lot of them still use chopsticks and whatnot over there. At least they did when I was there back in the 70s. We want a little bit of broth to go with our rice. A lot of times over there they would just do a soy sauce with it. So we have modified this to our likings. We're going to call it done. Where'd you go, Grandma? I have pulled out a piece of this pork belly. Now I have never had a problem. Grandma aggravates me when she just disappears like that. See, now I don't mind that pork belly. It is just a touch salty for me, and I did not add any salt to this throughout the deal. So I'm going to put this to the side. You all know what it looks like to see rice cooked, so you don't need to see that. I'm turning that off. I am going to upload this video, and then I am going to start on an eggplant. We are not going to... Grandma! What? I've called you 2 or 3 times, woman. Well, kick that dog. I'm not going to try to do the eggplant quite like she did hers. I'm going to do it an American version. Me and Grandma, try a bite of this. And be honest about it. Just take the whole damn thing. There you go. I'm trying to get the whole damn thing. She's fixing to get it. She's getting sassy this morning. But I'm going to set up to do the eggplant. What do you think of it?
Good.
Well, like I was telling them, you're not real crazy about the fatty taste. What do you think of that fatty taste?
It's not bad.
A little salty?
A little salty.
Okay, because we don't do salt. I don't do salt, so we have learned to cook without salt.
That's from the soy sauce.
Right, and that's what Grandma's saying. It's from the soy sauce.
Yeah.
So overall, we like the dish. And we have brown rice going with it. We got juice for our rice. We're all good. So we're going to upload this, and I'm going to start the eggplant. I don't have a whole lot of time left. I got to get ready to go. All right, folks, remember, God loves you, and so do I. Y'all give this a try. It's a little time-consuming in this hurry-up world that we live in today, but to me, it's well worth it. All right, y'all remember, God loves you, and so do we. Talk to you later. Bye.